Welcome back to Eyewitness News. Our legal counsel, Charlie O'Hara here. 436-1212 is the number to call if you'd like to speak with them. Thank you for being here, Charlie. Appreciate it as always.
Sure.
We do have a caller all ready to talk to you. Go ahead, caller. Good morning, and what's your question?
Good morning. My question involves the recent storms. Our vehicle has been totaled or is in the process of being totaled, and I was wondering about the buyback from the insurance process. Could you tell me about that, please?
Well, actually, that kind of depends on the circumstances. As I've said before, when you get an insurance policy, that's a contract between you and the insurance company. And what that contract says is how that's governed. So most of those contracts would have that wording in there. You should be able to talk to whoever the adjuster is or whoever you're dealing with on your vehicle and say, you know, if it's totaled, is it possible for me to buy it back, or is it going to be auctioned, or can I go there and make a bid on it or something like that? So it really depends on the circumstances, but usually you can do that. So I mean, a lot of times people want their cars back because they know more about them than other people, and it would make sense. I mean, they know if there's good things or bad things about them, and if there's a lot of good things about it, it may be more valuable to you than other people. So I think you need to talk to the insurance company and find out from them what their procedure is. They do not have to sell it back to you if it's total. They can sell it to whoever they want, but it'd probably be easier to sell it to you. So
yeah, and that's depending on your agreement then.
That's
and every
correct.
Company's different.
Yes, well, and a lot of them are pretty similar, but insurance is always a contract. That's what people need to remember. It's not something in the Constitution or anything like that. It's a contract between two parties.
So they don't have to do it.
That's correct.
Okay. And I know that July 1st is next week, actually, next Friday. A lot of new laws kicking into gear. We've been talking about the speed limit this morning and some other things. So this is always a busy time then.
It's really busy for attorneys. I think it always keeps us in business, quite frankly. I mean, they're changing the whole criminal code. As I said, I think in previous weeks they're changing a lot of the DUI laws. I mean, they're not dramatic changes, but they're little changes that make a lot of difference to people. Some people who've not been able to get a license may be able to get a license as long as they blow into a device, and there's going to be a procedure for that. And the priors, DUIs, will count a little differently than they do now. All business for attorneys. We've been getting calls already about the laws changing, so you know, those things help our business. I don't know they help everybody else, but they help us.
But they're always changing for you. Well,
right.
And you were talking about everything changing, but also wording in laws is so, we were talking about shall and may and is. The wording in laws can mean so many different things.
Well, yeah, and that's a little bit of a problem at times because people think they can read the laws and understand them, or read the cases and understand what the laws mean. And that's not really always true because, as I was telling you earlier, sometimes shall means the judge has to do it. Sometimes shall means the judge can do it if he wants, but he doesn't have to do it. So there's a lot. Is doesn't always mean is, and you must do something doesn't always mean you must do something. So there's a lot of ways to read things that lawyers go to school for.
Yeah, exactly. I can't just pull out a law and then know what I'm talking about, I guess is what I'm thinking.
Well, and a lot of people think they can. I mean, that becomes a problem in our business all the time with our clients. They say, well, this is what it says, and we have to say, yeah, but.
Let me interpret that for you.
That's correct.
Okay, we do have another caller on the line for you. Charlie, go ahead, caller. Good morning. What's your question?
Hi. Is it me you're talking to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I had somebody put some stuff about me on the internet and put it on the wall and sent it around that I felt was slanderous, and I was wondering what could I do to keep her from doing this again. I mean, she's like in her 40s, and what rights do I have?
Well,
I mean, it was sent to people I know, and
well, that's a real problem, and I don't know that's really been addressed, but it's kind of like anything else that you learned back when you were at recess. If people say bad things about you, if you just ignore it, if they tease you, if they do those things, you ignore it. I mean, anytime you get any kind of success, any kind of notoriety, people are going to be jealous of you and say bad things about you. So I think anybody that has that has to live with it, and probably now with this new evolving social network, it may happen to even those of us that aren't famous, and those things are going to be said, and we're going to have to be thick-skinned about it. So I think the best thing to do on anything that I would first say is just to ignore it and not even talk about it. I wouldn't acknowledge it by telling them to take it off. I just act like, you know, they're nuts, and there's nuts around, and you have to deal with it.
So there's really nothing much from a legal standpoint you can do?
Not that I know of yet. I think that may change, though.
Yeah, like you said, the law is always
Yes,
changing,
they
and
will
social
change.
media is always changing too.
That's true.
Okay, thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it.